Welcome to WT History. In this series, we list all the major events that happened in the world in a year, starting from 1776 to 2024. On January 29th, Senator Henry Clay introduced the Compromise of 1850 to the United States Congress. This compromise was designed to ease tensions between free and slave states in hopes of preventing civil war. Just 2 days later, on January 31st, the University of Rochester was founded in Rochester, New York, marking the beginning of an important institution of higher learning. During the month of January, the city of Sacramento, California, was devastated by major flooding, affecting the lives of settlers during the Gold Rush era. On February 28th, the University of Utah officially opened in Salt Lake City, founded by leaders of the Mormon community. On March 7th, Senator Daniel Webster gave his famous 7th of March speech. In it, he endorsed Clay's Compromise of 1850, emphasizing unity in order to prevent the looming threat of civil war. Less than 2 weeks later, on March 16th, American author Nathaniel Hawthorne published his now classic novel, The Scarlet Letter, in Boston, Massachusetts. Just 3 days later, on March 19th, Henry Wells and William Fargo founded American Express, a company that would go on to become one of the most recognized names in banking and financial services. On April 4th, Los Angeles was officially incorporated as a city in California, followed just 11 days later, on April 15th, by the incorporation of San Francisco. Also in April, the beloved songwriter Stephen Foster published his parlor ballad, Ah, May the Red Rose Live Always, continuing his influence on American music. On May 15th, the Bloody Island Massacre took place at Clear Lake in Northern California, where United States soldiers attacked the Pomo people, resulting in a tragic loss of life. Just over a week later, on May 23rd, the USS Advance set out from New York in search of Sir John Franklin's lost Arctic expedition, a mystery that had captivated the world. On June 1st, the 1850 United States Census revealed that 11.2% of the population classified as Negro were of mixed race, reflecting the complex racial realities of the time. 2 days later, on June 3rd, Kansas City, Missouri, was incorporated as the town of Kansas, laying the foundation for its future growth. That same day, on June 3rd, history also recorded the execution of the Cayuse Five, 5 members of the Cayuse Nation who were hanged for their involvement in the Whitman Massacre. The attack on a mission settlement near present-day Walla Walla, Washington, had sparked violent conflict between settlers and the Cayuse people, and these executions marked a tragic chapter in the region's history. On July 1st, St. Mary's School for Boys, which would later become the University of Dayton, opened its doors in Dayton, Ohio. A major shift in leadership came on July 9th, when Vice President Millard Fillmore became the 13th President of the United States, following the death of President Zachary Taylor, who died at the age of 65. On July 17th, Vega became the first star, other than our sun, to be photographed, a milestone in astronomy. Just 2 days later, on July 19th, tragedy struck when the merchant ship Elizabeth struck a sandbar near Fire Island, New York. Among those who drowned were the writer Margaret Fuller, her husband Osoli, and their young son Angelino. On September 9th, a historic day unfolded. California was admitted as the 31st state of the Union, and on the very same day, the New Mexico Territory was organized by Congress. Soon after, on September 18th, the controversial Fugitive Slave Law was passed by Congress, requiring escaped enslaved people to be returned to their owners. On that same day, Harriet Tubman officially became a conductor of the Underground Railroad, helping enslaved people escape to freedom. On October 19th, the fraternity Phi Kappa Sigma was founded at the University of Pennsylvania. Later, on October 28th, Delegate Edward Ralph May gave a groundbreaking speech on behalf of African American suffrage at the Indiana Constitutional Convention. Meanwhile, the Waltham Watch Company began the American system of watch manufacturing in Roxbury, Massachusetts, a major step for industrialization. Also in this year, Alan Pinkerton founded the Northwestern Police Agency, which would later evolve into the Pinkerton National Detective Agency, famous for its role in security and detective work. The International Organization of Good Templars, a temperance society, was established in Utica, New York, originally known as the Knights of Jericho. That same year, Mayor Lehman arrived from Germany to join his brothers in their Montgomery, Alabama dry goods store, the business that would eventually grow into Lehman Brothers Bank. Finally, one of the first segments of what would become the historic Pacific Highway was established in Clark and Cowlitz counties, Washington state, paving the way for future infrastructure. Crossing over to Europe, on March 5th, the Britannia Bridge was opened over the Menai Strait in Wales, a marvel of engineering at the time. On March 31st, disaster struck when the paddle steamer RMS Royal Adelaide, traveling from Cork to London, was wrecked in the English Channel, killing all 250 passengers and crew. On April 15th, another tragedy unfolded in France when the Angers Bridge collapsed, killing around 226 soldiers who were crossing it. That same month, Pope Pius IX returned from exile to Rome, regaining his place as head of the Catholic Church. On May 25th, Europe welcomed a celebrity animal when the hippopotamus Obeish arrived at London Zoo from Egypt, the first hippo seen in Europe since Roman times. On June 1st, Austria issued its first postage stamps featuring the imperial coat of arms. On the July 2nd, Britain was shaken by the death of Sir Robert Peel, twice-serving Prime Minister, who died after a fall from his horse at Constitution Hill, London. On August 28th, Richard Wagner's opera Lohengrin premiered in Weimar, directed by Franz Liszt. It included the now famous bridal chorus. On September 13th, the Piz Bernina, the highest summit of the Eastern Alps, was ascended for the first time. Later that month, on September 29th, Pope Pius IX issued the papal bull Universalis Ecclesiae, re-establishing the Catholic hierarchy in England and Wales. On November 29th, the Punctation of Olmütz was signed in Olomouc, marking the diplomatic capitulation of Prussia to Austria, which reclaimed leadership of the German Confederation. Also in this year, Bingley Hall, the world's first purpose-built exhibition hall, opened in Birmingham, England. Meanwhile, German physicist Rudolf Clausius publishes a paper on the mechanical theory of heat, laying the foundation for the second law of thermodynamics. The industrial city of Manchester, England, reached a population of 400,000 people. And finally, the devastating Great Famine in Ireland began to subside, bringing an end to one of the darkest chapters in Irish history. Turning to global events, on April 19th, the Clayton-Bulwer Treaty was signed between the United States and Great Britain. The treaty ensured that neither side would claim exclusive control over a future Nicaragua canal. On the June 1st, the transportation of British convicts to Western Australia officially began when the ship Scindian arrived in Fremantle carrying 75 male prisoners. In July, the Taiping Rebellion escalated, with Hong Xiuquan ordering the general mobilization of rebel forces in China. On July 9th, the Bab, founder of the Babi faith, was executed by firing squad in Tabriz, Persia, for claiming to be a prophet. On September 4th, the Eusebio de Queiroz law was passed in Brazil, abolishing the international slave trade within the Brazilian Empire. Just 8 days later, on September 12th, the Xichang earthquake struck Sichuan province in China with a magnitude of 7.9, killing more than 20,000 people. On October 1st, the University of Sydney was founded, the first university in Australia. On December 16th, settlers of the Canterbury Association arrived at Lyttelton, New Zealand, aboard the ships Charlotte, Jane, and Randolph, founding the settlement that would become Christchurch. Elsewhere, Dost Mohammed Barakzai, Emir of Afghanistan, captured the city of Balkh. This year also saw the first transfer of the Oud bequest, wealth sent from Oud in British India to the holy cities of Najaf and Karbala in Persia to support Shia religious institutions. Finally, beginning in this year and continuing until 1880, 144,000 East Indian laborers were sent to Trinidad and 39,000 to Jamaica, shaping the demographics of the Caribbean. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the past, year by year.